Just hope you're doing well. I'm feeling and sensing over these last few days lots of cloudiness and fogginess clearing out of our systems and out of the collective. What I've been experiencing and what I've been being shown is a lot of this is actually connected to that safe to be me energy that's been coming up, that courage to step into life energy. And what this season, what the collective energies seem to be doing is actually dissolving, thawing and dissolving the dissociated energy, the places and spaces going back to when we were born, maybe even to our conception, where we had to dissociate from what was going on or from parts of ourselves in order to feel safe. This includes shutting down our own voices and also doing things to fit in with our family, with society, with the world as a whole. And in order to do that, we close down and dissociated from parts of ourselves or from our own perspectives. And this is actually what I'm seeing is coming up to thaw out so that we can reintegrate those parts of ourselves that we may have squished down or forgotten about. So, some of you, or many of you, may be experiencing memories or conversations around things that happened during your childhood or young adulthood, or honestly, last week. It can be things that happened up into the present moment, parts where you might not have had the capacity to be fully present with what was happening because your resources were going to surviving. And now these things are coming up to thaw out so you can heal, resolve, dissolve whatever was frozen, and also reintegrate those parts of you that you've been missing. Okay. And because of the level those energies were coming up around, feeling the courage to step into life, feeling safe to be all of who we are, was coupled with our capacity to manifest and magnetize in our life what we want. I was guided to not only do that Safe to Receive session that was available a few weeks ago, but I did record and post right here on YouTube a free session, Safe to Be Me session. And that's available for everybody. You are welcome to listen to it as many times as you want. You are welcome to share it. There's actually a whole playlist of free sessions here on the channel for those of you that are newer. And I'll make sure all of that is in the pinned comment for you. And I'm also working on a Safe to Be Me series, and I that's available. The first one in that series is available now for any of you who would like to go deeper with these energies. It was really coming up, and it was a very beautiful, supportive first session in the series. And the energy is evolving. My work is always evolving for any of you who have been here for a while. The energy that's evolving is really a deeply opening, supportive, sacred space as always, but it's really just holding that space for your energy and essence to feel safe, to bloom, to blossom, and to open. This is again correlating with all of that sacred feminine embodiment energy that we've been talking about. And of course, you do not have to be a feminine or identify as a divine feminine to participate in these energies. They're supportive for all of us. And again, that is also available now. I'll put that in the comments. But it's like the more and more we are our true selves, the more we hold space to let all of who we are blossom, to let all of our aspects and all of the parts of us to feel safe, to come home, to express, right? That came through a lot in that first session where we not only froze off our voice, our expression, because we were told to be quiet, especially as children, right? Be seen and not heard. And this might be in your system, but it could even really be in the ancestral system. It was coming through in both. So something that was passed down generationally. So being really like born into this energy of suppressed expression, and so a lot of that was thawing, but the sister component or brother component that came in with that was actually all of the words of ridicule that we've heard from others, or again, that were passed down through the lines, the words of not feeling good enough or unworthy, or again, those like ridicule energies, and then the places and spaces where we have or did continue to do that to ourselves, where we beat ourselves up, where we held ourselves in perfectionism. And all of that is in the process of unraveling at a deeper level as we hold space to allow ourselves from this moment on, and from this moment in reverse into the past, holding space to let those parts of ourself just feel safe enough again to thaw, to bloom, to blossom, and to be free. So, yes, there may be some things that are thawing out and unraveling, but ultimately, we're holding the container for your system to feel safe and free, to be able to express, to be able. Just saying this to you, I feel relief. I feel relief in the heart space. And it feels important because for many of us, or for many of our parents or our grandparents or our great, 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 great grandparents, there was so much energy being spent on survival and just getting by that there really wasn't the space or the time or capacity to fully embody into who we were in our emotions, in our creations, in our intuitions, in our perspectives. But that is what each and every single one of you has been in the process of changing. That is such an important part of why this twin flame initiation, this divine counterpart initiation, sparked you and inspired you to work deeper on yourself. This innate initiation really is a process into self actualization, self love, right? Inner union, in that deeper embodiment of your inner union, allows you as a being to hold the sacred union frequencies within you, no matter how you choose to embody your sacred union in the physical world, on your own, with another, with the one who initiated you, however it unfolds, however it blossoms, is perfect. What's really most important is that if you feel inspired or you feel uncomfortable enough that you're wanting to evolve, you're wanting to feel better, you're wanting to feel happy and joy, this is the depth of where it brings us, right? The counterpart, the initiation, the discomfort, the shadows, everything that was brought up and mirrored in our systems was a result of inspiring us to be more and more of who we are by being able to see the blind spots. And as many of you know, I'm sure many of you can attest that a lot of your counterparts, twin flames, shared very similar childhoods to you. And sometimes they may have been opposite in some areas, and sometimes they were exact mirror points in very similar experiences. The depth of those childhood experiences and the mirroring of the wounding that most likely caused the separation times and the separation points in the physical world are those pain points that you're feeling and experiencing during the dark night of the soul, that again lead you on that deeper journey of loving yourself, of learning unconditional love and unity consciousness. So, as uncomfortable as it is, it's ultimately an opportunity again to heal those traumas, to heal those patterns, and to retrieve and reawaken all of those parts of you that were suppressed or forgotten. Okay. So we're going to go a bit deeper into some messages of support here for you. But I'm curious whether you're doing this series with me or not. How many of you have been experiencing these topics over the last few days or weeks? Because I've talked to people who are not connected to the channel and who are not connected to the twin flame journey necessarily that have been having really big openings and realizations around things that happened when they were younger that are opening and starting to resolve or be opened for the potential of resolution at this time. And there's a lot of also opportunity as you hold space and grace for yourself and compassion for your own thawing process. You may find it easier and easier to understand your own parents or your grandparents and how we got here. And once we start doing that for ourselves, it becomes a lot easier to hold compassion for the counterpart in the twin flame. When a feminine is looking within and loving themselves, it's easier to hold those energies with the masculine, and vice versa. As the masculine is looking within and also taking accountability and processing their part of things, it now becomes easier to hold compassion for the feminines. And let's just see where this wants to go. All right. Well, okay. I saw this on the bottom and I did feel like it wanted to come through, but I kept shuffling and it does. Tenderness, true love, and compassion. And I didn't even realize it as I'm speaking about compassion. Compassion for ourselves, compassion for the ancestors, compassion for the counterparts, even compassion for the wounded people, places, or things that we're witnessing in the world. Compassion does not equal participation. Compassion simply acknowledges that everything happens for a reason. People do things for specific reasons. And we've heard that saying, hurt people, right? This doesn't excuse their actions, it doesn't excuse the pain. But when we step back and we learn how to be tender with ourselves and care for ourselves and love ourselves and provide that safety and security for ourselves to be who we are, and we're holding that container for ourselves, you can start to really see and witness how and why people are having such deep protective mechanisms and defense mechanisms that may cause them to dissociate from the hurt that they're causing not only others but to themselves. And I know what I'm speaking about is a very deep process, and it's definitely a muscle that takes time to practice, to learn, to build. It's a pathway of rewiring our victim consciousness and simultaneously holding space for our own healing and our own trauma and understanding that we did deserve better, but our ancestors deserved better, our parents deserved better, all of humanity deserved better. And now that is what we're working to become at this time. And the ways that you support yourself, the ways that you create space to be safe within yourself allows you the deeper capacity to hold safe space with others and for others if you choose to do so. Of course, again, it's all a choice. But it will, if you have children, it allows you through your own healing process to hold a different space of capacity with them through their learning processes. And as you're growing and learning through yours, you can share that with them, right? Okay. There's like a whole bunch more that's coming in. And I just want to see where this is going to go. I want to pick a message for the feminine and the masculine specifically. Okay. Jeweled web connectivity. This feels like where more things are opening for the masculine side. So inner masculine, physical world masculine, ancestral masculine energies. And whereas some of this thawing is happening in the system, some of the dissociation is dissolving, some of these memories and realizations are opening, and they're starting to connect dots. Things that were once hidden, things that the masculines didn't quite understand, or they just couldn't see the perspective that the feminine was wanting to share with them. Now it's like lots and lots of light bulb moments are clicking on, and more is making sense. And again, you may be feeling this within your own system, regardless of how you identify, where you've understood something. And yet, as these clouds are clearing, you're getting an even deeper understanding, a deeper aha moment, a deeper embodiment of the concepts that already made sense to you are somehow integrating even deeper into your awareness and perspective. Okay. And this feels like this is happening. Like I'm seeing each of these points as like these light bulb moments where the dots are really starting to connect inside and outside. And more awareness is coming into our systems. And this is a deep opportunity to work again with our own inner energies and our masculine ancestry and how that's working within our own inner network, and then how we're connecting out with others. This seems to be a very deep theme that we are reaching a deeper level of interconnectivity, right? Like I said, that embodiment, that sacred union embodiment into ourselves is bringing more and more of those puzzle pieces together. Okay. And let's see what wants to come through. The feminine, I'm actually getting the true love deck. So forgiveness. Okay. Wow. So this feels like wherever we can bring forgiveness energy into ourselves, into our ancestral lines, into our twin flame divine counterpart connection, and just allowing the forgiveness energy to really permeate the process. This is reminding me of a forgiveness group session that I did back a few years ago. And maybe it was about a year and a half ago. I never posted that to be available publicly, but if that's something that you think you guys would like, I could work to make that available. And it was a 2 session series, and we had conversation and talked about how to work with the forgiveness energy. Or I could just do something completely new if it's something you want to work with. Either way, I'm just putting it here. And as I'm saying that, my left ear is not only ringing, but it's actually feeling, um, wow, like plugged. And that's the feminine side. So that's interesting because my ears popping used to have a lot to do with the masculine collective coming in, but this is coming through specifically for the feminines or the inner feminine. Okay, this is bringing me to a vision that I had last night, and it was actually where the masculine was coming in to meet the feminine, but coming in on the left hand side. And this felt connected to also where the masculines, wow, okay, this is kind of deep. Just stay with me. Where the masculines, part of what is being opened is where they're realizing that the same way the feminine has been working with the masculine mirror, they are needing and wanting to work with the feminine mirror. And there's something deeper opening with that for the masculine collective. But what's coming through for the feminine collective is where you're allowing that sacred inner feminine to thaw and embody. That's actually directly correlating to the feminine energy thawing for the masculine. And I feel quite deeply where both the masculine and feminine are wanting and working on this reintegration of the sacred feminine energy and embodiment in their own inner energies and through those sacred feminine ancestral lines. Okay. So it's coming through. There's a deep mirror that the masculines are working on things with their sacred feminine line as the feminine is working on their sacred masculine. I'm also getting, bear with me, that no matter how you identify, you very well could be working on both. You just might find one stepping forward more intensely at this time, but it's very possible that you're feeling both your mother and father's lines simultaneously. And this, my loves, is your moment of conception. These are the marriage of the energies that created you. And so, as you're feeling that, and you're feeling that energy of your conception and your ancestral lines marrying together to create you, my loves, are feeling that inner union, sacred union energy, okay, in a new and deeper way. And again, feeling safe to be all of you, sending forgiveness to all the moments where you held yourself back from your fullest expression, anywhere you suppressed yourself, sending forgiveness to any of those experiences of ridicule or unworthiness or judgment from others or projection from others, sending forgiveness to all of it and let it start to melt and thaw. Free yourself from the pain. Let all of those parts of you feel safe to come back. And the more you do this, the more you may feel your counterpart's energy as just part of you, the same way you feel your ancestral energies as a part of you, the same way you feel your soul essence of all of your past life experiences. They just are you. Okay. You and your soul essence coming into this physical body is the marriage of your soul wisdom coming together with the wisdom of your two ancestral lines of your parents. This is very powerful information and energy to harness and to work with, but also to let it come together so that you feel more safe to be you, all of you, right? Honoring the experiences that got us here, being able to dissolve the trauma that kept us small, and to be able to integrate the gifts from the ancestors, the gifts from your soul, and the gifts of your initiation, in all of those pieces coming together. All right, my loves. I know that this might be getting long, but I do want to pick one more card. I am really, like I've said to you, excited for these energies. We've done a lot of deep work, a lot of deep shadow work, a lot of unraveling. And this was all important to pave the way to let this blossoming happen, right? You have to weed the garden so that the flowers and the fruits can blossom, correct? So we've spent a lot of time weeding, and now we have a much safer, clearer space to blossom. And this is what we're doing here in these videos and in the sessions and series that I share. All right. Talk spirit. Let spirit be your guide. So, yes, always, always allow your soul to be in control. And what's coming to me is that I know many of you have already, this is what you've been doing, right? Really learning to listen to yourself to gain perspective. And what I'm feeling is this is a big part of where this inner child, inner thawing, the release of that suppressed expression is opening. It's allowing you to get more access to your own inner guidance, your own soul guidance, and letting that couple with that higher guidance that you've been asking for and tapping into, that inner wisdom, that inner knowing. As I'm speaking, I can feel right in my gut, right in my solar plexus, where it's wanting to thaw. Those parts of you that were born with this innate soul wisdom that was suppressed because you were a baby, right? And you had to count on others to survive. And then the programming of the world suppressed it more. All of that soul wisdom that was born right into this body, that is what's wanting to thaw and come forward in deeper ways, my loves. This is wisdom that has always, always been within you. And now coupling that with that hard won wisdom that you have gone through because of the experiences of this life, all of those experiences have made you who you are. Now you can take the wisdom and the gifts and let those come together with the soul gifts and allowing the pain to be what resolves out. Imagine that, weeding the garden and being left with the gifts. Okay. You're doing great. I know that if you stayed with me this long, you're pretty deep on the journey. And I'm grateful for your presence here. I'm grateful for all that you have done and all that you are doing. And I'm most excited to witness and be part of watching and feeling and sensing your blooming and blossoming and actually receiving the results of everything you've been doing. My loves, I can feel it in every ounce of my being. We are getting there. The pieces of the puzzle are connecting and they're coming together. And I'm sending you lots of love and warmth for a beautiful rest of your day or night. And I hope to see you soon. Take care. Much love. Bye.